What's up, guys? Today we're gonna be owning the right wing by reacting to videos of them. Okay, let's get started. Ben Shapiro. I actually don't know that much about him other than the fact, you know, he's right wing. He created the Daily Wire, something facts, something Jewish. I really don't know that much, but I do know that he is a vessel of propaganda. I mean, it is what it is. I think anything that talks about politics is a vessel of propaganda. You know, I'm spewing out propaganda, I feel, you know. I'm here to change your mind. I'm here to brainwash you away from all of this. Anyways, really the main issue with Ben Shapiro is that his propaganda doesn't work on me, or Gen Z really in that matter. In the last few years, his existence has really only existed as a punchline, so his magic will not work on me. Don't take that in an anti-Semitic way, please. But out of nowhere, I got this woman in my recommended called Brett Cooper, and I know what you're thinking. That's not a girl's name. She's become another branch in the tree that is the Daily Wire. Where Ben Shapiro fails, Brett Cooper comes in looking exactly like him if he was a female. Ben Shapiro creating a YouTube channel with a female Gen Z version of himself. This has convinced me more of Darwinism more than anything else ever has. When you click on one of these videos, the first thing you see is that Daily Wire watermark in the corner. So this really is just like, this is like Daily Wire Kids, Ben Shapiro Jr., whatever you want to call it. Don't get me wrong, Ben Shapiro has tried to appeal to the youth. He made that rap video, you know? He just speaks like he always does, but it's with a beat. And you're not gonna believe who reacted to the video.
It is such an epic troll, and I love it.
Before I really get into Brett Cooper sucking off Ben Shapiro, I just kind of want to give a rundown of what her channel is like. She uploads multiple videos a day. I'm not even counting the shorts. There's just a bunch of fucking content spewing out of this moment. Let's see what is burning in the political climate right now. Let's see what's political. Justice system's political, Taylor Swift is political, protein is political, Bud Light's political, planes are political. Getting a job is political. She's got a lot to fucking yap about.
It all started a while ago when Ben interviewed Tom MacDonald, who is a very famous independent rapper.
I've been called the Ben Shapiro of rap many times.
I've actually listened to Tom MacDonald. His music sounds more like Imagine Dragons than it does like any rap I've heard. I think it's just because he's trying to like replicate Eminem, but it's like rap god Eminem, you know? Eminem was rapping really fast. They said that is the only rap there is ever. Brett Cooper really loves Ben Shapiro.
One of my favorite things about Ben, you guys don't often get to see this side of Ben because that is like my personal favorite side of Ben. He is so smiley. He's so down to earth. He's very goofy. He's very funny.
She's got those fuck eyes when she looks at Ben Shapiro.
This man proved that he could literally feature anyone and still make a banger. Don't like the tone of that. Adding Ben only made it better in my
If I'm going to have this opportunity to talk about somebody else, I would love this chance to look at both sides of a situation right now. Brett Cooper and people reacting to Brett Cooper. The two sides, the two genders. I've looked at some of these video essays where they criticize Brett Cooper. I'm gonna be honest, man. If I spent all of my free time digesting purely whatever I watched in the past week, I would be dead. I would jump in front of a car. None of this is pleasurable to me. But why? Why am I being such a fucking fence sitter? You know how like people with Down syndrome, Brett Cooper is like the opposite of someone who has Down syndrome. You ever like hang around with someone with Down syndrome? They're happy about everything. They're super nice, incredibly optimistic about everything from my experience. Like the other day I was driving, there was a guy with Down syndrome. He was just like doing this. He was giving a go ahead gesture, you know, when the stoplight was green, and it like made my day. Brett Cooper is the opposite of that. If that guy with Down syndrome was giving me the go ahead when the light turned green at the stoplight, Brett Cooper would be doing this when the light turns red at the stoplight.
I think we have the grossest example of this corrupt and flawed system that I've ever seen, and the hypocrisy that follows it. We're gonna talk about that today. Before we do, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel.
I did watch video essays where people were critiquing her. I don't want to say they're wrong about anything they comment about. I just want them to know they are contributing nothing to society.
No, Brett.
Listen, I know, I'm not, what the fuck am I doing, right? Call me disillusioned or whatever, but I don't like this condescending guise of,
You're either right or you're wrong.
I took some notes on one of these videos by Ethan is Online. His commentary to me has a closer relation to sitcoms without a laugh track than actual political insight.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
He can say stuff you agree with, don't get me wrong, but don't go to him expecting to learn anything new.
The right in America.
Beyond saying socially acceptable things, he provides absolutely no insight at all.
Mess with the dog, you get the bite.
Getting into the nitty-gritty of one of these Brett Cooper videos, I just chose like the most generic title possible, like, this is how we survive in Biden's America. I'm not even gonna show the thumbnail yet. What do you think the video's about? Exactly, it could be about fucking anything. But I guess we'll just have to figure it out.
So everyone knows the economy is suffering. Young people fresh out of college are facing the brunt of it since they have, few savings, entry-level jobs, etc.
So economy's suffering, I'm about to graduate this semester, I'm not gonna find a good enough job to support me, is what she's saying basically.
And because they were given this rosy idea of what adulthood would look like. That is just not the reality in 2024, and definitely not the reality in Biden's economy.
I don't have enough money to survive Biden's economy, so what am I gonna do? Brett Cooper will help me right now.
They don't seem to be grasping what they actually need to do in order to survive and be comfortable and thrive. For example, getting roommates.
What is Gen Z's issue with the economy right now? Well, we don't want roommates.
I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live. 40 hours a week makes me $2,000 a month, and my rent is $1,660.
You make $2,000 a month, but you are paying $1,600 in rent. Does that make sense?
I don't think it needs to make sense. I think that's actually her reality. I make $2,000 a month. I have to pay $1,660 for the apartment. That's all we know right now. I don't really know what she's reacting to. So I think Brett assumes she's living by herself, like
Food, So not only do I not have any extra money, but just working makes me so exhausted that I don't have time either. Like, I get off work at 5:30.
So here's what we know right now. She's working a full-time job, 40 hours a week, making $2,000 a month, paying $1,660 for the rent. She has a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm assuming she has a roommate. She's left with $340 for everything else, and she's kind of scared. She's scared that she cannot afford the necessities she needs to survive.
I'm trying to be really serious here, guys, but it's so funny. Work makes me so... Welcome to the real world! Work is tiring! My team is all in here giggling. I appreciate you guys, the muffled laughter coming from behind these screens.
This doesn't have to do with the fact that she's with the Daily Wire. I just think this is a little sociopathic in general, to laugh at someone having a mental breakdown on camera. Personally, I'm not really a big fan of recording your mental breakdown in the first place and then uploading it on social media, but you're not in the best headspace right now anyways. But just like recording yourself laughing at this person, recording themselves going through a mental breakdown, just doesn't rub me the right way is all.
I don't get a day to relax. I don't get to decompress.
What are you doing after work? You come home. I'm doing anything else. So you are decompressing. That is your decompressing time between the hours of 5 and whenever you go to bed, since you don't have a side hustle.
You don't have a side hustle? Before I get back to Brett, I actually saw this video running around on Twitter. The reaction to this video is fucking insane. These people are like Looney Tunes level of fucking insane. You want energy? Take a multivitamin. Look at this. You want energy? Take a multivitamin. You want cash? Get a second job. Most others already have one. You want time? Prioritize better. Suck it up, buttercup. It's called adulthood.
Now get this! If you're late one more time, you're fired!
It's clearly a case of people just having a big chip on their shoulder where they're working more than full time and they see other people not doing that and they're like, well, why aren't they doing what I'm doing? Listen, I can work 60 hours a week and I have absolutely no time to myself. I don't get what everyone's complaining about. It's a really simple concept to me. Full-time job is in the name, right? Full-time. That is all of your time. As someone who's had a full-time job, it does take all of your time.
You are not in an impossible situation. There are very normal, simple steps out of this situation.
Okay, let's see what advice does she give? What advice does she give?
Get a different job, waitress 3 days a week, and find a cheaper apartment. There are ways around this.
Just get a different job. Get a different apartment. Why didn't I think of this? I can just go and find a better job like this. I definitely do not have friends like that right now who are looking for jobs, better jobs, and they simply cannot find one. Why work at the Wendy's when you can work at BlackRock? I could just apply there and get the better job.
Now, I did feel bad laughing halfway through, and I had wanted to not do that. It's no fun to just trash somebody who is, going through a breakdown and is obviously struggling and tired, exhausted, emotional, whatever. But you are not in an impossible situation.
But But you're not in an impossible situation. Your situation isn't impossible. It's just like 99.99999%. Let's see the advice. Let's see the advice people give to this woman going through an episode.
Everything you said in this video can be solved. Like that.
It's like that. I can fix all the problems. It's not impossible. I could just do that. Wow. Is this what the red pill is like?
She's complaining about not having enough money, but she's choosing to rent a 2-bedroom apartment. You don't need that.
She's under the assumption this person is renting a 2-bedroom apartment for herself. I can't help but feel like there might be some context missing for that. I don't care how fiscally irresponsible you are. I think people are smarter to spend $2,000 of their monthly paycheck on a $1,600 apartment. I think there's a little bit of context missing there. But I don't know right now what the context I have, and Brett certainly doesn't know what the context she has. You gotta be a different kind of dumb to think a solution to this woman's problem is like, have you thought about getting a cheaper apartment? Well, there's your problem.
She works a normal 40-hour-a-week job, very manageable hours, very standard hours. People, this is not really struggling in the grand scheme of the world and what society has gone through and what mankind has had to endure. This is not struggling.
Have you considered the fact that it's easier for her to herself? No wonder people are lazy. They're only working a full-time job and they're complaining about their pay. No wonder people are so lazy about this. They're not doing anything else except a full-time job. No wonder they're so lazy.
She makes minimum wage, and she's paying about as much for that 2-bedroom as I do for my mortgage. There's some kind of bad decision-making going on, even though it's true that things keep getting worse by getting more god-awful expensive.
Like, look at this contradiction. Yes, things are getting worse right now, and things are getting more expensive, but I'm paying a mortgage. And maybe she is. Like, maybe she's actually making a bad decision, but, like, she's not making decisions that bad. Like, she's not doing drugs or anything that ruins her life. She's just, like, she's caught in a sticky situation where she has to pay a lot for an apartment right now. That's about it. Like,
inflation is through the roof, the rental economy is terrible, but right now you also just can't wave a magic wand and magically fix the economy.
The rental economy is terrible, but you can't just like pay a lot of rent. What's the matter with yous?
It's no coincidence that the generation indoctrinated with communism can't handle reality. Oof.
You know why she can't pay her rent? It's that damn communism. It's that that damn Lenin shit.
Respectfully, get a roommate. Find a job that pays more or get a side hustle.
Just get a job that pays more money. You thought of that, right? You didn't think of that? Just get more money. Baby, there's 168 hours in a week. You're only working 40. 8 hours of sleep. Have you tried 4?
And number 4, you have more time than you think, but screen time is likely wasting a lot of it. And
pesky screen time. I'm inclined to agree because she's ranting on TikTok. I mean, she'll probably feel a little bit better, but she still has like the risk of being homeless.
But I'm gonna go ahead and just answer some of the questions I've been getting.
All right, context.
Well, firstly, I just want to say that I am so lucky to be in this situation that I'm in.
Starving children in Africa, great.
I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment because I got this with my now ex-partner. We got this a 2-bedroom apartment so we could have a bedroom and I could have an office because I work from home.
What do you know? A roommate was about to leave on her. Wait, what does she have to say about working from home?
She works from home. She works from home, people. She sits and does her little clicky-clacky. And she's too tired to run errands after work.
Brett, look, just look. Which I know you're not working from home, but you're built in a studio to look like a home to appeal to Gen Z people. So it's like, look at you. You even did the clicky-clacky gesture on your keyboard.
So at this point in the video, I was like, okay, I get it. So she rented this apartment with her boyfriend. He moved out. Now she is dealing with the rent. Still, you should get a roommate, but I was like, okay, I get it.
So she was worried that her roommate was no longer going to be her roommate and she was going to have to pay full for the apartment. That's kind of what I figured was happening.
She's dealing with a lot. It was a breakup. You guys broke up. It ended amicably. He's apparently still living with you. This video, this crying breakdown video, was an imaginary situation.
It wasn't fucking imaginary. She was scared it could have happened and it was a very real chance of it happening. Like, you know what? I'm gonna look at the comments section of this video. I'm a 28-year-old man living in Canada. Our housing crisis is really bad too, and I'm paying $1,300 a month for a garage I live in. Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices, and I'm moving back with my parents in order to save money. It shouldn't be shamed. This economy is brutal, and moving back home isn't the worst thing ever. I agree it shouldn't be shamed, But sometimes we gotta make sacrifices. For example, I can't afford a place of my own. One of the issues I see a lot with today's generation is they were never taught how to budget. This is true. Back when I was in school, we took 2 classes, mandatory. One being home economics and the other was consumer education. What the fuck classes are you? Granted, this was 30 years ago, but it obviously helped me. I'm 52 years old and I have been living on my own in my own house and making about $40,000 a year for the last 8 years, plus I have a well-funded retirement. It's all because you know how to budget, and it's definitely not because, that was 30 years ago you learned how to budget? Alright. Jarvis, show me inflation rates in the last 30 years. Jarvis, can you show me how much the price of a house has increased in the last 30 years, and how much rent has increased in the last 30 years? And you'll notice, like, a lot of these comments aren't even Gen Z, it's just, none of these people are Gen Z. That guy is 28 years old, he's a millennial.
I have a pretty serious mental health disorder, and
Who doesn't these days?
I am having a hard
Wait, what the fuck? What? Did she mean that, like, seriously or sarcastically? Suicidal thoughts, oh honey, the hormones are finally kicking in.
So, the beginning and the end of that video, I liked. Acknowledging that, but everything that happened in between that, your situation is because of your choices. Your life, all of our lives, are a result of our choices.
You know, it's your fault that your ex broke up with you and he had a chance of leaving the apartment that you would have to pay full rent for. Don't you ever think about the decisions you make, you bitch?
You work from home and complain about 40 hours. Stop whining and get out of your head. Sorry, she's been existing in her head for a lot the last couple of weeks. You don't need a therapist, you need goals and achievements. So true, dead dude.
So true. These people aren't real. Like, these people aren't real. Is this politics? This isn't politics. Therapy? Bitch, Martin Luther King had a dream. By the way, it's Black History Month. Shout out to all of my black...
You said you get off work and you come home and you're exhausted, but you just said you work from home. I'm confused because it was for attention. And it was sort of an imaginary situation, I guess. Somebody else said, hold up, work from home? You split the rent with your boyfriend? You took a 2-week mental health break? What the f are we even talking about here? I don't know. Also, the mental health break. Please do not complain about money online when you took 2 weeks off of work.
I think she's aware of this. I think the person who took a 2-week break off the job is aware that she took a 2-week break off the job. I'm just saying, why are you treating this woman like she's 12?
Start looking for a better paying job, or find a fun side hustle, even if it is driving around for Uber Eats while you listen to podcasts in the car and try to better yourself.
If a full-time job isn't doing enough for you, get a fuller-time job. Just all you should do is work. If you have a full-time job and you're not making enough money, just work more, okay?
My side hustles were waitressing and working at a grocery store and babysitting. I loved all of those.
That is a fucking lie. You loved being a waitress? You love being a waitress? That's a fucking lie. You enjoyed working at a grocery store? You enjoyed working there? You enjoyed working at a fucking grocery store? You're not helping her at all.
At least make sure that you are getting outside once a day and touching grass and getting your basic nutrients. If you need help getting basic nutrients, you need balance of nature. Because living a healthy lifestyle...
Dude, I don't give a fuck about your fucking veggie pill.
And lastly, please, God, move out of the apartment that you share with your now ex or find a new roommate, because I guarantee sharing a place with your ex is not helping.
Like, again, like, she makes 2 videos a day, so she doesn't think about anything she talks about ever. She's just, well, you still living with your ex? Get out of there. Just get out of there. You're living with your ex? Just leave. Go find a cheaper place. Why are you still living with your ex? Just leave.
And I know that it might not seem fair that you have to get an apartment and you have to share it with somebody. And considering our current economic state, this is more of a reality for people than ever before, and that is totally fine. People are complaining about their financial state and rent, but won't get roommates because I don't want that. Like,
guys, please do not take like any advice from this woman ever. Like, it's not because Republican. This is my biggest problem when something has an agenda. It's because when you have an agenda, you have a conclusion. And the conclusion is a message that you want people to understand. But when you're making 2 videos a day, you go from point A to point B so fast and so quick that you don't really understand that middle part. The middle part that connects people. I don't think there's a malicious intent to what Brett is doing, but I do think it's harmful just because she's clearly not giving her all about this, because she's got another video to make after this and then another video after that, all in the same day. She's got some shorts to react to. She can't devote all of her energy to this one video and this one topic, because she has to make another topic right now and she has to read another sponsorship right now. Hey, and while you're at it, did you know a majority of people aren't subscribed? Be sure to leave a like, hit subscribe, and make sure to hit that notification bell as well. I don't think this is misinformative as much as it's just uninformative. There's not really any information spewing out of her, and that's really the issue I had with a lot of the people reacting to her as well, is that if you try to focus on the politics of what she's saying, there's no politics involved because she's saying nothing. You're not trying to look into these economic qualms any further, like you're trying too hard to be agreeable. Yes, the economy is bad. Look at this person suffering from the economy. Wait, why is she suffering from the economy? She has such an expensive apartment. The economy is terrible right now, but is the solution getting a roommate? No. Like, even if they have a job or if they have a degree and they can get a better job, people are still not making enough, and you said that at the beginning.
Young people fresh out of college are facing the brunt of it since they have, few savings, entry-level jobs, etc.
I just think having a roof over your head is a basic necessity. And you know what? I would love to buy a house, except Jeff Bezos and a few other billionaires have invested their money into a company that is buying up all the single-family houses. And what they're trying to do is to get you to have a fractional investment of that house. You don't live in it or anything, you just invest in it. You just own 1/100th of it.
Roommates are not the answer. Nobody wants that. I'm sorry. This is life. That's the real world.
But the problem with making this political is that you're presenting a side to a problem that people are having regardless of a side. The issue presented here has nothing to do with the side. The issue is that people are having a hard time being able to afford necessities. I don't think there should be a side associated with that. I don't want to be put on a side just because I think people should afford basic necessities. Look at all these people complaining. They're not getting anything done. They're not fixing anything. They're just complaining. You're spending your free time watching this? You're not doing anything. But don't take my word for it, because my doppelganger from the past has already watched this video, and he's gonna give his opinion on it. Sneakadoodle watch number 1. Personally, not really a fan.